He's here? Are we here? Can I start? Okay. Call to order.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 5th, 2018. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper posted on public bulletin boards in the township website.
At this time, please silence or turn off your cell phones, please. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
Councilman Mumolo.
Here.
Councilman Fosman.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Here.
President DeYoung.
Here.
Thank you.
Please stand for a salute to a flag, followed by a moment of silence.
Council President, excuse me.
Please be seated. First off, I would like to thank Council Vice President Crate for arranging our ugly sweater Christmas cheer holiday. So you might notice, you might want to look at Councilwoman Pontorero's shoes. They light up, and they are gingerbread houses. So, approve reports of municipal officers, please.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. And approve the minutes of the November 5th and 20th meeting. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. Councilman Fosman, second by Councilwoman Pontorero. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Mumolo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
First up, we have, for our presentations, we have our Students of the Month for November. I would ask Council Vice President Crate and the Mayor to come on down.
Good evening. Each month, the mayor and council likes to take the time to congratulate the students of the month for both Brick Memorial and Brick Township High School. These students have achieved significant academic success for the month, and we are happy and proud to acknowledge their achievements. So congratulations to you all, and we wish you continued success for the rest of the year. We would like to first recognize the Brick Memorial High School students. In 9th grade, we have Yohani Joseph Burgos and Maya Cifredella. No. In 10th grade, we have Brianna Deshaw and James Hoffman. Come on down. 11th grade, we have Austin Swenson and Brianna Rodriguez. And in 12th grade, we have Panayotis Perdekis and Haley Amagretti.
Parents, you can come up.
And the Brick Township High School Students of the Month for November for grade 9 is Giovanna Spadafora. For grade 10, Eliza Hudson. For grade 11, Azalea Diomede. And for grade 12, Alan Hoffman.
Next, for our presentations, the mayor will award the CDBG checks.
Social services agencies and organizations, they provide an essential role. They provide basic, essential needs to our most vulnerable staff and do so with caring and compassion. Each year, the township receives community development block grant funds to use specifically for social service programs and organizations and projects. We award those funds via grants to agencies and programs that are here in Brick and that serve our Brick residents. So this year, we have received more than $125,000 worth of requests, and unfortunately, we only received $44,000 in CDBG funds. So I appreciate all the hard work for the applications that were submitted and for the amounts that were submitted, but unfortunately, we're not able to fund anybody entirely what they were asking for, of course, based upon funding that comes from Washington, D.C. I'm going to be calling up a representative from each organization to receive the checks. So if your name is not called and you're here representing an organization, please come up for the check presentation, because we tried to check to make sure we have everybody on the list, but if I just call it and I don't realize you're here, please come forward anyway. And I'd like to present you with the check, which is for the grant. But more importantly, I'm going to do a very, very brief one-sentence description, but if you can say what your organization does, and if you need volunteers, or if you need other donations, or things like that, this is your opportunity, because obviously there's a room here with people, with 40 or 50 people, but at home, people watch this on TV, they watch it on YouTube, so there's a lot more people that actually watch it. So you may have a whole nother universe of donors and or volunteers, and or both, if that's what you're looking for. And they're no particular order, so just don't, oh, they are in alphabetical order. I didn't realize that. Usually they're in no particular order, but this year they're alphabetical order. Gina Lambusta from the ARC. Okay. The ARC is receiving $3,200 for its transition services program that allows high school-age children with intellectual and developmental disabilities to participate in a series of coordinated activities designed to promote the daily living and skills necessary to secure and maintain competitive employment opportunities.
Well, first, thank you on behalf of the ARC of Ocean County to the Township of Brick for allowing us the opportunity to provide this support. The ARC is celebrating its 64th anniversary in April this coming year. So we've been providing services for quite a while to both residential, vocational, family support, and recreational services. We provide these services to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And as the mayor said, this is to transition students from high school into the adult world, hoping to get them competitively employed. We're always looking for volunteers, of course, and staffing. So if you know anybody who's looking for a job, come over to the ARC and we'd be happy to take an interview and offer you positions. Thank you again, and we appreciate this.
Next is Mary Malagiri from Caregiver Volunteers of Central Jersey. They are receiving $3,000 for its transportation program, where volunteers provide door-to-door transportation to physician appointments, chemotherapy, physical therapy, lab work, and any appointments, which are medical in nature, as well as grocery shopping. So, thank you. Okay.
And we're really thrilled to receive this check. Brick has been so generous to our seniors who we serve every single day. Each year we add another 300 seniors, giving them transportation to their medical appointments, as the mayor had said. These are vital services. The people we help are no longer driving. They can't even get on the Ocean Ride buses, which sometimes are available for them. So it is door-to-door service for these seniors, and many of them are solo. They're living alone. We have a lot of seniors that we help that have Alzheimer's or dementia care, and we do food shopping. We stay with them. It's respite care for the family who is taking care of someone who is ill, and they just need that break. So this is a godsend for us. So thank you.
Joan and Tom from the Church of Epiphany, St. Vincent de Paul Society. They are receiving $8,000 to continue to provide temporary financial assistance to Brick Township residents in dire financial need to meet basic needs for things like utility bills as well as rent.
Okay, we'd like. We'd also like to thank the mayor and the council and anyone else who had anything to do with this wonderful grant. I don't know what we'd do without it. I only wish they were there when we announced it to our 11 members. There were screams and tears because it couldn't come at a perfect time, a more perfect time. We had a fundraiser with Walk for the Poor was rained out, so was the rain out date, makeup date. We had a clothing drive that we didn't know about a month before, but somebody else had a major clothing drive, so that didn't do as well this year. So this amount and this check is more than we could have expected. Suffice to say, the mayor already told you what we do, but we make many poor people get by, and we help them know what to do to stay out of the trouble they got in with either a utility bill or rent. And finally, suffice it to say, every penny of this will go towards that purpose. Thanks again.
Next is Marilyn Lago from the Church of the Visitation Soup Kitchen. They're receiving $3,200 to help fund the Visitation Church Soup Kitchen.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Lago, who takes care of the kitchen of the community lunch. And this is one of my workers, Joan, who is there every week to help with prepping of the food. On behalf of all of us at Visitation Church Community Lunch, I graciously accept this check and thank all the people who had something to do with securing it for us. We could not have done this without the help of the dream of Isabel and Frank Chronics, who, almost 10 years ago, in fact going into the 11th year, had this dream. And as of this date, we have served almost 3,000 people. All the meals are homemade. There's even access to an elevator. We provide a lending library. And we are blessed with the wonderful volunteers who provide service, friendship, and comfort to our guests. Not only do we feed the body, but we also feed the mind and the soul as well. This community lunch is open to everyone. We do not turn anyone away. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Mother Teresa. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Thank you again, Mayor and Council. Our lunch is tomorrow. Come and join us 12 to 1 at the Visitation Parish Hall on Mantalopen Road. Thank you.
Next is Jim Sigurdsson from Community Services Meals on Wheels, Sigurdsson, who is receiving $7,000 as part of their hard work to deliver hot, healthy meals to our seniors. Sorry.
You know, it really is a privilege to be here. Mayor Ducey, Council President DeYoung, and members of the council, thank you very much. I'm going to reminisce a little bit, if you don't mind. I did hear Joanne tell everybody they got about 2 minutes, and I'm kind of hoping that everybody who took 30 seconds is yielding me the balance of their time. But I want to reminisce a little bit. I'm finishing my 19th year as the Executive Director of Community Services, Inc. of Ocean County, also known as Meals on Wheels. And my name is pronounced Sigurd's son, but like I said, whoever holds the check can say, hey, you, it really doesn't make a difference. But back in 2000, actually, a little bit before 2000, my good friend Mayor Scarpelli at the time realized that there was a need in the community. There was a waiting list, and he asked us what we needed to do to eliminate it, and we said we really needed about $15,000 a year in the support of the township to help us provide the services to the seniors in Brick. And that mayor and that town council didn't hesitate. Every single year, now for almost 20 years, I've had the privilege of standing in this room and receiving a check, okay, from this mayor and from this town council and from the citizens of Brick Township to help us continue to support and to feed the homebound seniors and the frail elderly in Brick Township. Let me tell you what we've done in 2018. In 2018, we've served 308 older adult Brick Township residents. Those are individuals who are homebound, disabled, individuals who come to our senior nutrition site in the VFW on Adamston Road. Over 31,000 meals have been served to those 308 individuals, and we've spent over $353,000 providing those services. We take the money that we receive from this generous donation on the part of the township, and we put it back into the program here in Brick so that we can continue to expand our services to feed every single senior who needs our services. We haven't had a waiting list for a very long time. We don't have a waiting list now. Thank you to the generous support of the county, the generous support of this township as well. We provide nutrition, education, health. We provide recreation. We are more than just simply a meal. It's a privilege to be here with so many other fine organizations who are supported by the generosity of this town council and the citizens of Brick, who do so much good for so many people. And the citizens of Brick ought to be proud that this mayor and this town council has continued the legacy, a legacy that was started in my terms over 20 years ago. And they continue to expand on that legacy to reach out to find organizations who are helping the citizens of Brick Township live healthier and happier lives, and they find ways to come alongside and to partner with them. So again, Mayor, I want to say thank you to you, to the town council, and to the citizens of Brick for your continued support of our program.
Next is Contact of Ocean and Monmouth counties. They're receiving $3,200 for its first call for help program. They have provided assistance to 1,357 Brick residents in need of support in times of crisis. Next is Dottie's House, which is receiving $3,200 towards providing transitional housing for abused women and their children. Next is Marianne Moyo, right? Yes, of Interfaith Hospitality Network, who is receiving $3,200 towards continuing efforts to provide short-term shelter and food for those in need.
Thank you so very much, Mayor and council members. And by the way, I love wonderful. Interfaith Hospitality is a temporary shelter for working homeless families. You probably have just read about the 1 million children in the United States under the age of 6 that are homeless. I can't attest to what we have in Ocean County, but I know if you come to our dinner table, you'll see a lot. We provide mentoring, a nutritional program, financial counseling, and most of all, we stress education or better skills, technical skills, in order for them to gain their own home. We've had a lot of success, and it is due to your generosity. I thank you so very much.
Next is Jean Stepawani from the Jersey Shore Council Boy Scouts, who is receiving $3,000 towards scholarships for scouts from Brick Township to attend summer camp.
Good news about the Scouts for a change. We're called the Jersey Shore Council of the Boy Scouts, and we actually represent all of Ocean County, parts of Atlantic County, and parts of Burlington County. We conduct something called the Scout Reach Program, and with that program, we go into local area communities and find young people, boys and girls, who would like to join Scouts, but because there are financial requirements, uniforms, handbooks, that's usually the tipping point. They can't really do that. So part of this grant goes for that, and the other part of the grant will go for their attendance at our summer camp. We have a 550-acre camp, magnificent, in the Brookville section of Barnegat, exit 69 off the Parkway. Everybody wants to know what exit it is. They go for a week. We provide transportation. We pay. We subsidize their payment to go to camp. They have a wonderful time. There's a 25-acre lake on campus there. They have kayaks and catamarans and sailboats and something called the Cowboy Action Range, which is a lot of fun for the kids. So I want to thank the mayor and the council for the grant. It's really important for us. You all know the kind of work that you're doing and how important these grants are. They're also important because you can point to these grants when you're talking to other folks about what you do, because this can sort of serve as a catalyst for other people. They see that you're being supported by the local community, and then they want to join with you because they're not alone. So I want to thank the mayor and the council again, congratulate all of you who have received grants for the great work you're doing. Keep it up. Have a good night. Have a great holiday. Take care. I'm going to the bank.
Next is Mike Buca from Oceans Harbor House, which is receiving $3,200 to continue to provide outreach to teens, specifically by providing services to at-risk youth at the teen center.
I wish I had a nickel for the number of times I mispronounced CDBG this week, but we are so grateful for the support of the Brick Township community to Oceans Harbor House. We are a homeless youth shelter and transitional living program serving youth ages 10 through 21 in Ocean County. We also serve some Monmouth as well, but we serve a portion of the population of Brick Township residents who have come to us over the years to find a home where their living situation, the youth's living situation is no longer suitable for some reason or another. And there's many reasons why a child may come to Oceans Harbor House, but we are proud to be there 24/7, 365. We are never closed. Our doors are always open to youth on a holiday, on any time you may be having dinner at home. We have staff on taking care of our kids at Harbor House. We've been around for over 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary. The doors opened in 1988 of our emergency youth shelter, and we are so proud to have served many thousands of youth over the 3 decades of our existence, including here in Brick Township. We want to thank the council. I want to thank the mayor and everyone here for their continued support of our programs, and we are proud to be there for when a youth needs us. Thank you.
Next, Deb Stellhorn from Providence House, who is receiving $3,200 to support legal counseling for victims of domestic violence.
Providence House provides services to victims of domestic abuse and their children in Ocean County. We have a wide variety of services, from emergency shelter and a 24-hour hotline to individual counseling that's non-residential, and a creative arts therapy program for children who've witnessed domestic abuse. The funding from the Brick CDBG goes to support our legal advocacy program and the staff that we send here to the Brick Municipal Court to assist domestic violence victims here. Last year, we assisted in 286 cases. So we're very grateful for this funding, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Next is Mike McNeil, Solutions to End Poverty, otherwise known as STEPS. They assist Brick Township residents with landlord-tenant matters and outreach for seniors with housing issues.
Mayor, thank you. Definitely want to thank the council here. Just want to let some of the folks know what we do. The mayor told you a little bit, but we're a statewide organization. We're from around this area. We served Bricktown for a long time, as long as I can remember. We also, pay back rent. We also do first-time home buyers. We're a big believer in putting people in homes. I don't think anybody has outdone our record for an organization our size of what we've done over the last several years. We had over about 400 people that we put in home ownership. Besides that, we have what we call a housing navigator. As the mayor said, I'm the guy that's in court all the time, in eviction court, trying to make sure that people don't get evicted, and people need a plan. And most time people go to court and they want to fight it, and it's about money owed. And so our job is to put a plan together and try to get that money for them. But there's an organization here that I really want to thank very much that's been very supportive to us throughout, and that's St. Vincent de Paul. They've been very great to us, not only the one that's here in Bricktown, but also the St. Vincent de Paul in Lakewood. What happens that a lot of you may not know is that some of the regs are very hard. We do a lot for Ocean Inc., which is our partner, which we can pay back rent, but they have, as you well may know, the qualifications there get really, really tough, and it's hard. And so they fall through that gap, and that's where folks like St. Vincent de Paul has been very, very helpful to us in filling that gap. So I really want to reach out and thank you very much for that. And I want to thank everybody here.
So you just heard from 10 organizations of the 12, and it's the time of year where giving is the reason for the season. So give of yourself, give of your time, give of possible donations. I'm joking about the giving is the but also practicality point is December 31st, a lot of people have to make donations for tax purposes. All 12 of these organizations need that help. So even if you're just doing it for a financial gain of your own, there's 12 great organizations right here in Brick that do awesome work and help our residents every single day, and I want to thank each and every one of them for what they do for our community. And it takes the pressure off of local government, federal government, state government, and county government, because we have these people doing this volunteer type work and this type of need that's there. Otherwise, our system would be much more inundated with various claims from different sources. So thank you, each and every one of you, for what you do.
That's 4-2, Dottie's house. She needs the notes. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be moving on to our consent agenda now.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Very good, thank you. Resolution 4-1, authorization, or authorized cancellation of grant appropriated reserves and receivables. This resolution authorizes the cancellation of grant appropriated reserves and receivables in programs where the funds cannot be spent within the contract period. 4-2, authorized cancellation of stale dated checks. This resolution authorizes the township to cancel outstanding checks that are considered stale dated in the amount of $93.26. 4-3, authorize award rebid alterations to the police department locker room. This resolution authorizes the award of rebid for alterations to the police department locker room to Ascent Construction Management Ocean for a total bid amount of $107,000. Bids were sent to 34 potential bidders. 15 contractors responded and 6 bids were received, with Ascent Construction being the lowest responsive responsible bidder. The project generally consists of construction of an expansion of the existing police locker rooms and will include alternate number 1, which entails mechanical and electrical work. The project is funded as part of the 2015 capital budget. Resolution 4-4, authorize award of contract, purchase and delivery of one portable tow-behind compressor through Sourcewell National Cooperative. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for the purchase and delivery of one portable tow-behind compressor through Sourcewell, a national cooperative purchasing program. Sourcewell currently has a contract available for this compressor through a dealer network for which this equipment will be purchased. This equipment will be purchased from United Rentals in Wall. The total cost of $20,158 was approved in the 2018 capital budget. Resolution 4-5, authorize change order number 1, Brick Beach 1 Pavilion. This resolution authorizes a change order for the Brick Beach 1 Pavilion project, which represents a decrease in the contract awarded to Monmouth Construction be decreased by $13,021.71. Resolution 4-6, authorize execution of shared services agreement, Ocean County Prosecutor's Special Operations Group. This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office Special Operations Group. The Special Operations Group is the Ocean County Gang, Gun, and Narcotics Task Force, which receives funding from the state of New Jersey and local law enforcement assistance formula grant program. The township pays the salary of the one officer assigned to the Special Operations Group. The police chief has advised us that the benefit to us is the additional resources we receive as part of this group, and additionally, the township receives a portion of any money collected in the forfeiture account. 4-7, authorize renewal of trailer park license Princeton Beach Estates LLC. This resolution authorizes the renewal of the traffic park license issued to Princeton Beach Estates LLC for the Princeton Beach Estates Mobile Home Park located at 50 Princeton Avenue for the operation of the park. The site has been inspected by the township zoning official and found to be in compliance with the township code, and no conditions on the park property need to be addressed. 4-8, authorize renewal of motor vehicle selling licenses 2019. This resolution authorizes the renewal of motor vehicle selling licenses for 2019 to AAM Auto Sales, O'Reilly Associates, Brick Performance, Bricktown Motors, Elbow Inc., Missy Shell, Professional Auto Cooper, Specialty Automotive, Surfside Collision, Truckland, and Route 88 Auto Body. 4-9, authorize renewal of motor vehicle selling license with restrictions, MC Auto Sales. This resolution authorizes the renewal of motor vehicle selling licenses with restrictions to MC Auto Sales, Mantoloking Road. The restrictions that remain in place limit the number of vehicles that may be on display or for sale at any given time. 4-10, authorize renewal of motor vehicle selling license with restrictions, Nailers Auto. This resolution authorizes the renewal of motor vehicle selling licenses with restrictions to Naylor's Auto Industrial Parkway. The restrictions that remain in place limit the number of vehicles that may be on display for sale at any given time. 411, authorize renewal of police towing licenses 2019. This resolution authorizes the renewal of police towing licenses for 2019 to Andrews Auto Body, Princeton Avenue, Brick Performance, Drum Point Road, D&L Towing, Mantoloking Road, Glenn's Towing Service, Old Burnt Tavern Road, Joe's Service Center and Towing, Mantoloking Road, Joe's Towing and Auto and Truck Repair, Midstreams Road, Legacy Towing, Mantoloking Road, Laporte Service Center, Herbertsville Road, PPTD, Herbertsville Road, Route 88 Auto Body, Route 88, Sandy Service Center, Mantoloking Road, and Surfside Collision, Mantoloking Road. These licenses must be renewed annually and come before the council for approval after Land Use, Code Enforcement, and the Fire Bureau have inspected and found them to be in compliance. Additionally, the police chief has reviewed their applications, found them to be compliant, and recommends these applications be approved. 412, authorize placement of tax lien for property cleanup. This resolution authorizes the placement of a tax lien for property cleanup at 16 North Maplewood Drive in the amount of $6,410.36. 413, bond releases and reductions. Madam Clerk.
Yes, thank you. 413A is a performance bond release for GHU Properties LLC off Route 70 in the amount of $2,975.54. 413B is a performance bond release for GHU Properties LLC off Route 70 in the amount of $15,707.59. 413C is a performance bond reduction for U.S. Construction, Inc., Iroquois Drive, in the amount of $5,099.04. 413D is a performance bond reduction for Shlolem Terran Industrial Parkway in the amount of $34,302.42. 413E is a performance bond reduction for Shlolem Terran on Industrial Parkway in the amount of $47,497.44. 413F is an inspection fund release for the River Rock Sports Bar and Grill off Route 70 in the amount of $58.33.
Thank you. 414, tax collector, Mrs. Bergen.
Thank you. 14A, 100% DAV, cancel taxes for Block 1021, Lot 9-X. 14B, cancellation of taxes for an exempt property owned by the County of Ocean, Block 1447.02, Lot 21. 14C is to cancel a tax sale certificate at Block 1106, Lot 5.05.
Very good. And 415 is authorized temporary extension waiving building department fees for flood event. As many of you are aware, in August we had our flooding event, and we wanted to extend this till March 1st, 2019, because many of them are just starting their construction, and we need to make sure that they get all the help that we can give them as the township. This ends the consent agenda. Open to council.
Yes, I have some questions. For the attorney, Kevin. 4-4. I'm looking at the bid package here. I noticed alternate 3, insulating the ductwork. It's not much money. How come we didn't, I was wondering, how come we didn't go for that? Because if we did, the other contractor would get it. And if we give it to this contractor, is he allowed a certain percentage on top to do a project if we add it later? Is it 20% of the project? Let's say it's $100,000, let's make a number up, $100,000. Are they allowed to do $20,000 more if we asked?
That was over budget. That's why it wasn't added. That was over budget, so it wasn't within what was projected.
But what I'm saying is, if it's awarded to this guy, what percentage of money out of that are we allowed? Is there a percentage, 10%, 20%, that you're allowed to go over if you add something to the project?
It will not be added. It will not, because it's over the budget. It will not be added under this contract.
Okay, let's say it wasn't this project, it was another project. and it was $100,000, what percent can they go over?
You're talking just a
Anytime.
general project?
Yeah, like project like this,
The
we're
local
doing this
public-
here. Let's say they found out, oh, there's a transformer that needs to be replaced now, that they opened it up and found a bad transformer.
Right, change orders like that would come before the council. They're governed by the state law, known as the local public contracts law, and a change order is permitted, I believe it's up to, it's either 15 or 20% of the project, overall project, I forget which amount. Before, then special steps have to be taken. If it's more than that, you have to go to the DCA and have to get
Right,
special
but-
approval.
A project, I've seen a lot of projects that we had, and they went over and above what the cost was because they found something that needed to be repaired. I just want to know the percentage, so it's about 15-20%?
Yeah, it's set in the local public contract, so I can find out specifically
Okay.
what it is, but it's one of those two.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And 412. That's it, you know. I did look up this property here at 16 North Maplewood Drive, and putting this lien on that property. What if it was recently sold? Does that follow with it before we put the lien on it? Let's say it was sold last month. This lien goes on a property. The owner shouldn't, it
The
just
lien
follows it no matter what?
The lien is placed upon the property at the time it's approved, so it will run with the property and will be the responsibility of the owner of the property.
Even if you bought it a month ago?
It was settled already?
No, it's when they close, because it's pending now.
Oh, it hasn't closed yet?
It's my understanding it's still pending, it's not closed, but it would be, during
Right.
the transaction of the closing, those monies would be recollected.
Yeah, if the property is sold, it goes on the
Yeah, I know.
seller's side to pay for that at the
Okay.
time of closing. Right.
Very good, thank you.
Motion and a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontoriero, second by Councilman Halloran. Open to the public. Yes.
Ann Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard, and I will first say that I'm very happy that tonight a lot more information was given for most of the resolutions than generally has been done. I do still have a couple of questions, and it concerns, let me see, 4-9. In fact, the same question for 4-9 and 4-10. You said there were restrictions regarding how many vehicles can be displayed. How about telling us what that number is?
Madam Clerk?
For MC Auto Sales, it is 3, and Nailers is also 3.
3 for each. Thank you. And on the tax collector, I do not understand. I've brought this up a long time ago. I also brought it up a much longer time ago at the freeholders meetings, and I think they now have complied with what I feel should be given to us. Blocks and lots mean nothing to us. Addresses do. Although blocks and lots probably are required to be legally correct, there is no reason you cannot put that address. You tell the addresses like North Maplewood Drive, but for this, you don't give us the information, and I have brought it up more than once, but it still isn't happening. And I imagine that at this moment, that's all I can do. I wouldn't dare go out and spit on the steps. And for the moment, that will be it. Oh, no. I suggest that before the new year, you check the rules, Robert's rules, which are expressly stated in our township regulations. You have to have somebody move and second it before anybody, including the people that are council people, discuss any part of it. If you don't get a move and a second, you're not supposed to touch it. It falls away from the table. So I suggest you check up on it, especially the person who I think is supposed to be the parliamentary authority. That is a fact. No move in a second, no discussion.
Next.
Yes.
You got the memo.
Good evening. Yeah, I did get the memo. Just some clarification. On 4-1,
Yeah.
cancellation of $211,920. Most time we don't get grants that cover enough. It just seems that that's a big amount, so if you could just explain what is no net loss 2014 to that sum, that would be great. That's one of my questions. 4-3, the $107,000 bid for the police department locker room. For a locker room, it seems to me a lot of money. The base bid, I don't seem to have a problem with, but the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, when I looked at it, alternate number 1 is for $48,000, and it says / electrical work.
Mechanical.
I thought we hired our own electrician, so we weren't going to be paying these kind of monies out. So why are we doing that specifically is my question regarding 4-3. 4-5, Brick Beach 1 Pavilion. You made it seem like it was just a reduction in the amount. Looking at it, seems like it was a little bit more than that. This was a project that was done in 2008. The contractor supposedly finished it. I don't know whether they did, they didn't, really didn't say, and then supposedly they disappeared. So the architect hasn't heard from this contractor in 10 years. It just reeks of a little inefficiency. 10 years later, we're just getting to this now. I mean, and this is a vendor that you use over and over again. Where was he for 10 years that he didn't straighten this problem out?
Getting permits. Getting permits. No, I don't know where he was.
I'd like an explanation because I think one is really due. And on 4-6, you kind of explained what the shared services were, but I'm a little confused. In reading it, I can understand why would we want our share of the forfeiture money. Is that the only benefit that we're getting? I also read that they're going to give us a $10,000 stipend if we have the same officer for a year. If somebody leaves 7 months later, they can then put another officer in for 5 months. But we pay whoever it is. We pay their salary, their benefits, their overtime, the whole 9 yards. The county doesn't reimburse us at all for any of that. It also says in there, well, the county could give them weapons. Do they get a weapon? Don't they get a weapon? It's significant because if they don't, then all of the tests that officer has to do is at our cost. County doesn't kick in anything for that. And if they use a municipal car, they're just reimbursing us for the gas. If the county supplies a car, they take care of the gas, the maintenance, the insurance, the whole 9 yards. So I would like to see them give us a car instead of using the municipal car. Well, if you can enlighten me to those things, I'd appreciate it.
Mrs. Bergen?
Certainly, I will give it a whirl. So, how are you doing, Mr. Scott?
Fine, this business administrator.
The no net loss grant, we've talked about this previously when we awarded the contracts. There were 2 pots of money in that program. One pot of money was per tree, per amount you could spend to hire a contractor to plant trees, and the other pot of money was one for you to plant, or township employees to plant trees on public property, on township property. The ratio for the amount of trees that we had to plant, that we had to take on ourselves and guarantee and do maintenance, was significantly higher compared to the contract. So for every, say, 5 or 6 or 10 trees we planted, we could use the money to hire a contractor for, a right-of-way area. I think we did Burn Tavern Road and Route 70, Brick Boulevard. I know we did also do Brick Boulevard. So we found that we could not possibly plant the number of trees that were our responsibility to do. So that skewed the ratio significantly. we planted what we could manage, and then we used ratio, we were allowed to hire an outside contractor, so that ended up in us not being able to take the full amount.
Okay, so that's why we gave back the 211.
Correct.
Okay.
On the second one, in terms of the locker rooms, we had several bidders put in. I can't possibly speak to why the prices fell where they were, but they're competitive pricing, and they do outline their prices in the bid. But I can tell you that we do use our township electrician to any extent possible to help us reduce a cost. This is, we have one gentleman and a full plate, and we diligently go over what we can assign him to and what's not reasonable, because it's not possible for him to get the list done. So this, we decided internally that we would keep it all under the contractor. He's just one guy. There are just some projects that he is not able to do as a one-man show.
So before we get off that one, a locker room, we're going to spend $107,000, but if we did the whole 4 things, you're looking at spending $200,000 to $250,000. Doesn't that seem like a lot of money for a locker room?
Right, which is why we're not doing all 4 things.
Even 107 is nothing to sneeze at. Is this because we've hired more police? I mean,
It's been long overdue for a renovation. It hasn't been done at all, I think, since the building was constructed. So it's been long overdue, and it is also allowing them to reconfigure some space, which is also very much needed. We are pretty tight in this building, as you can imagine, having our police department and all of our township offices in one location, with the exception of recreation and public works. A lot of people in a tight spot.
Okay.
And the third question you had regarding the old closeout of that concession. So, as you know, our purchasing agent has decided to retire, and in her effort to be sure all her books are clean and closed properly, this was one that was open and outstanding. The contractor did the work. What happened to him in that time period isn't particularly of a concern to me. As long as he did the work, he's due to be paid. Therefore, it's showing on our books as a balance due. We wanted to, decrease the contract appropriately and close out the grant.
Okay.
Close out the contract.
So kudos to Mary Ann, and going to wish her well on her retirement.
Of course.
She deserves it, her and her husband.
Absolutely.
But again, my point is, so here a township employee picked it up, but you have Barlow, who was in charge of this, who got paid, and 10 years later, he has to be told by our employee, hey, wake up, you didn't take care of this the way you should have. Does that make sense? And you continue to use the guy, or firm, whatever.
Mm-hmm. We do have a pool. We try to get competitive pricing and use people that provide us with the best pricing to get the job done. This was something apparently they chose not to babysit. If you're owed money, generally you show up and say, hey, I want to close out the contract.
Okay.
The last item you asked about was the Special Operations Group. So the weapon specifically is only if there is a weapon that they would need as part of that assignment that we don't authorize as part of our weaponry that we provide to our police officers. So, a standard pistol.
So it's a special
or baton.
circumstance.
So it's just if there's a piece of equipment that they would need as part of their work that would be offered by the county would have to train them on that piece of equipment. For the most part, what we offer to our officers and train them on is satisfactory. I don't even know of one time when there was a special piece of equipment they had that we didn't already have our guys trained in using it every day.
Is this one police officer
Mhm.
that they're talking about? Just
Correct.
one?
Just one.
Okay. Do you happen to know over the last year or two what the amount of forfeiture might have been? I'm just curious.
I couldn't. I could tell you it's significant. That's
Okay.
why the chief very much likes to participate in this type of shared service because it enhances our training. It helps us, have a presence and be a part of the changing dynamic of crime and how it's investigated and implemented and so forth, and the forfeiture money.
Yeah, I mean, I have spoken to the chief about this in other conversations, and the money that we do get enables him to use that money for things within the
Sure.
community. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that is a good point.
Takes
I
it
just
out of
thought we
our
could have
budget.
we could have squeezed the county a little bit more if we
Right.
could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Anybody else? Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Mamalo.
Yes.
Councilman Bosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero. President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to 416, bill resolutions, computer 2018.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $2,732,641.50.
Open to council.
Yes, I have a question. Page 61, it says $18,000, Traders Cove Marina. It says State of New Jersey. What's the $18,000 for?
That is the permit fee for the application for the dredging.
Thank you.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontoriero, second by Councilwoman Zapsik. Open to public. Shoulda.
You know, I like to watch how we spend our money.
I know.
Page 6, Barlow, Governal, replacement of heat pumps, 18,000, if you can explain that.
Page 6.
Do you want to go through all your questions and then?
However, I'm easy. Go
Okay.
ahead. That's fine.
Oh, okay, so we are replacing the heat pumps in Town Hall. That's approved in our capital budget. That will cost in excess of $250,000. So Barlow has been retained. It's an architect that's required to submit and sign off on the plans as opposed to an engineer. So this is
So it's
typical.
18,000 for their services to tell us what we need. Is that what we're paying for?
Yeah, they have to submit, the design has to be signed by a licensed architect. It's a complicated and detailed project, and a large-scale project.
Okay. On page 8, this is something I'm trying to get some understanding for, because I've never asked about this before. Fire District 1, 2, 3, if you look at them, 600,000, 446,000, 315, you're looking at $1 million, $1.4 million. Do the districts come back and give, like, any accountability as to what this money is spent for? Like, or we just give it to them and?
Yeah, well, they go
How
to
does
the
that work?
voters. They go to the taxpayers. Do you want to answer?
Yeah, they're separate governmental entities. They are, commissioners elected by the voters are subject to their own regulations and laws about what their money is put to, what it's used for, and the audits they need to comply with to the state.
Okay, so we just give them the money and they do
They
whatever it is?
have their own election.
Okay.
You vote on
Right.
them just like you vote for the council and budgets and all that stuff.
We don't oversee them, and not under our jurisdiction.
Okay, and I gather, because I've looked at my tax bill at times, I guess it's that money that we have that you get charged for each district. That's what this money represents?
It's, yeah, this is the taxes, so it's.
It's
so
the money
sim-
that we collect in taxes that we're giving them?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
We're the
But-
collection agency.
Yeah, just like we do with the schools, we collect the money,
Right.
we don't know what they're spending it on, but we have to give them the tax money. Even if there's appeal, they still get their full amount, we're the ones who have to eat it. Not
Okay.
the schools or the fire or the
And
county or
then
anybody else.
they don't answer back as to how they spend the money. So what you're saying is that,
Not to us, to the
Okay.
taxpayers they do, because they have to set a
Really?
budget. Every February is an election of, you know,
Okay.
nobody votes.
You're right about that. Another thing I'm going to bring up, which I brought up once before, a lot of retiree reimbursements, again, I've touched base on this before, the Medicare B, and the business administrator was kind enough to look this up and get back to me. It's just that, and it's got to stop. You know, the state looks for more money, everybody needs money, nobody wants to see their taxes going up. It's, for the most part, people that get paid, they're getting $804. Not where somebody has to get $2,300 and $2,600 because they're getting these exorbitant pensions, not so much on their own, but when you build it up and they exceed $185,000. I'm sure the people that were trying to help in Greenbrier that were flooded, they're not getting $185,000 pensions and $225,000 pensions. So this penalty that the taxpayers are paying for has got to stop. It's got to start someplace for that to stop. You should really look into how that should be done, because as part of the big picture, when I asked about this once before, on a statewide basis, we pay between $60 and $70 million for this nonsense payment that is put on the backs of people who really can't afford it. So, as a government entity, I really think you should try to look into how you can curb that back. Page 28, Mr. Mancini with Chambers Bridge residents. I thought he got paid on this before. Why is he getting paid again?
I'm sorry, was it Mr.
Paid-
Mancini?
Yes.
Okay,
It says
so-
Chambers Bridge residence site. He got paid on the Chambers Bridge residence site once.
In full? I can't,
Well, I didn't have time to go look at the bill, so I don't know. That's hence the question.
yeah, if he submitted another invoice, I can only assume that that wasn't his,
What did he do now that he didn't do before? I mean, he just didn't submit the whole bill?
yeah, I mean, the first bill could have been a partial bill while he was, I don't know, I don't have the bills in front of me, but.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to look myself.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look. I can take a look at that, Mr. Scott.
Okay, that'd be great. And page 61, the $18,000, you already got the answer, Mr. Fosman. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Romolo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Thank you.
Moving on to Resolution 417, Bill Resolution Manual 2018.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $2,832,247.04.
Open to council. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontoriero, second by Councilman Halloran. Open to public. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Momolo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes. We are now on ordinance on second reading, 5-1. Amend the designation of land and extension of agreement 175 Chambers Bridge Road.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the designation of land to be sold by the township and authorizing an extension of agreement for payment of an annual service charge pursuant to NJSA 40A:20-12.
Thank you. In June 2018, the council authorized the sale of the Chambers Bridge residence to National Church Residences. The financial agreement included a sale price, the requirement for the buyer to pay an annual service charge to the township, and extend the affordable housing restrictions another 30 years. This ordinance allows for the township to extend the term of the financial agreement and the annual service charge obligation for an additional 18 years to run until December 31st, 2048, to be consistent with the extension of the affordable housing restrictions on the property. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Momolo, second by Councilman Halloran, open to the public. Yes.
What is the formula that this is based on?
It's our appraisal that we received.
An appraisal? No.
think, are you asking the formula for the annual service charge?
In the
Yes.
service?
Yes, it's in the financial agreement. It's set by state law, actually, and it's equivalent roughly to 5% of the gross rents, and the gross rents are computed under a formula established in the state statute. But you could assume 5% of the rents minus some utility charges.
Minus utility charges. Do the tenants pay their own utilities, or is it?
I believe the entity pays the utility, the water and sewer charges. I don't know what their lease agreements are with the individual tenants.
Okay, so if the tenant pays for their own heat, then there's no reduction in utilities because they're paying the gross rent because they're paying their own heat separately.
I believe it's just water and sewer utilities. I don't think electric or heat is included in that, but it's whatever the state statute provides, but I believe it's just water and sewer.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're just extending the same formula, which is based on a state statute. It's not a negotiated number.
That is correct. It cannot be negotiated. That is
Cannot be
correct.
negotiated. Okay, so the 18 years extension, making it to 2048, where does the 18 start from? Because if we're in 2018 and you add 18, you're at 2036.
It would start January 1st, 2019.
2019.
Of this,
And 18, 17, that takes you to 2037, Kev. So you're saying it's getting extended to 2048.
it's 30 years in total. What you're
That's
talking.
that's what I asked. Where does the 18 years get added on from?
Right, it's added on to the current term of the financial agreement that is in place, which was started on January 1st, 2001. So we are 18 years into that. So there's 18 years added on to the end. So
Okay,
it is a
so it's a
total,
6-year difference. Okay,
total of 30.
okay. I really think this is still a bad deal. I'm just going to reiterate it, and over, you made a bad deal.
Okay, Kevin, last two weeks ago, when I asked about this, I asked about the annual service charge. The mayor said it was about $8,000 a year. That's what he said. 80?
No.
80, yeah, that's correct. In
I said 80.
2018, it was $80,193.
Okay.
That's correct.
So it's about $80,000 a year, average.
Well,
Right.
not average, it escalates over time. It was, just to give you an example, in 2005, it was 57,000. So it does go up, and I expect it'll go up over the term of the transaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody else?
Yes, I have a couple.
Close public? Roll call.
Well, I didn't ask the council if they had any questions. I do have a question. Kevin, this is second reading on this.
Correct.
Usually an ordinance takes 2 readings and 45 days, doesn't it? But when you amend it, it's different?
No,
Be effective.
no, ordinances take 2 readings
45 days?
and 40, no, there's no 45-day requirement. It's usually 2 meetings in a row. Usually they're, 14 days apart. You have a first reading, you have a second reading. The ordinance gets published, and then it becomes effective 20 days after that.
Like we did the ordinance for the 2-hour parking at Trader's Cove, that didn't take effect right away after the meeting. It took 45
Oh,
days after.
you can change the effective date of an ordinance in the body of the ordinance itself. So you can say this ordinance shall be effective as of X date. If it is not if it's not changed by the ordinance, it becomes effective upon publication and notice period.
It says held on 18th.
Yeah, for example, this ordinance does not have an effective date on it,
Yeah.
so it'll become effective by law. The law provides when it becomes effective. It's publication and 20 days notice thereafter.
But 20 days after this vote.
After
The
publication, after
publication.
second reading. That's
Okay.
correct.
We have 20 days left in this month.
I'm sorry?
We can go over to the next year? Doesn't-
Sure. It goes to whenever the 20 days runs. Right.
Very good, thank you.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Mamalo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Okay. Who's up?
Good evening. I'm going to read my letter dated December 7th. It's John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. Dear Mayor Ducey, Council President DeYoung, councilmen and councilwoman, along with the citizens of Brick, and basically all us Brick taxpayers, my letter. Often people like to bury their heads in the sand when it comes to controversial subject matters. Unfortunately, the ill effects of toxins can't be seen in local studies until well past the time when the detrimental impacts have befallen the citizens of the area. One can look at past studies in the area that were done concerning cigarette smoke and lung cancer, or CDBG chemicals where billions of gallons of polluted groundwater cause thyroid and nervous system cancer in children, or just wait for another study on a particular issue. I guess we can wait 10 years or so for more people to develop lung and heart ailments and suffer through poor health and early deaths to complain, or we can be more proactive and judge our area by studies that were done in New York, California, Florida, countries like Canada, China, and France. We can force ourselves to believe the bureaucrats who eat at the financial trough paid for by hardworking taxpayers, and we can believe that political honchos who rake in hundreds of thousands of dollars for their cohorts, sympathizers, and allies. On the other hand, we can believe the thousands of studies, many brought before this council, from the Environmental Protection Agency, nurses groups, medical journals, American Lung Association, World Health Organization, Time Health, and in fact thousands of other places here in America and around the world who have exposed the health impacts of noise and toxin perils of the major highways in the area. I hope the council, the mayor, the town's workers are not waiting for more health issues concerning our children or more emphysema cases and the premature deaths of our seniors in order to take action. I watched a movie just recently called Midway. Commander Jessup telling some of his military friends, wait and see. We waited December 7th. We saw the wait and seeers will bust your ass every time. That was his quote. My question for the mayor, the council, the taxpayers, and the workers in Brick, are we the wait and seers, or are we the proactive people of action who care about the citizens of the Jersey Shore? Excuse me. What is needed in and around Evergreen Woods, Greenbrier, Briar Mill, Brick High, Lanes Mill School, and the Birchwood area of Brick Township are vast replantings of brush, shrubs, and trees that were destroyed by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners on or near the Garden State Parkway, as well as a 14-foot noise pollution and safety barrier to protect the health and well-being of Brick residents. If you live in places mentioned above or work in stores such as the Wawa on Burnt Tavern Road, Costco, Town Hall, or any other stores near the Garden State Parkway, you would have to have a willing suspension of belief. Yes, you would need to have a willingness to spend one's critical faculties and believe something surreal. The sacrifice of realism and logic for the sake of hiding your head in the sand. We need to save our children now. We need to help our seniors now. We need to take action now. Along with the increase in brush and trees, a 14-foot noise pollution and safety wall is needed to protect us all. Every day of inaction will lead many of us to premature deaths, or at least leave us exposed unreasonably to the impact of those deadly toxins in the air or the overflow waters around the Garden State Parkway. The political sympathizers, allies, lobbyists, and bureaucrats demand payback for the support, and the citizens go wanting. Does anyone really believe the bureaucrats really work for the citizens, or they more often work for their own self-interest, the lobbyists, the powerful construction companies, the union, and basically the entire alphabet soup of the bureaucracy, such as the NJTA? I urge each elected official, whether you be mayor, council, board of ed member, to stop listening to the paid representatives of the lobbyists, the underlings of the bureaucracy, and do what is needed for our children, our seniors, and every member of our community. The residents don't need long drawn-out noise impact studies and tests to know that illegal actions associated with the Garden State Parkway expansion have caused, at least in part, asthma, autism, COPD, hearing loss, and a variety of ailments and premature deaths. The commissioners of the Turnpike are harming each and every one of our citizens, and it's past time we took action now. Thanks for your time.
Next. Yes.
Stephen Brill, Evergreen Woods. At the last town council meeting, someone mentioned suing for damages related to the pollution emanating from the Garden State Parkway. Not against the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, but against another resident who chose to highlight a potentially dangerous environmental hazard. I absolutely agree that the pollution levels from the Garden State Parkway must be studied, not only at Evergreen Woods, but areas on both sides of the highway. This study must take into account time of day, day of the week, and of course the summer high traffic season. The alleged study that was performed by the NJTA did not locate monitors of various Brick Township residential areas that border the parkway. In fact, the pre-construction study only used estimates, neglected to factor into any modeling the Interchange 91 project as required by NEPA. As with any scientific study that uses computer modeling, results must be verified by actual conditions. This was not performed by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. The health of Brick Township residents is your highest priority. Demand that the New Jersey Turnpike Authority verify not only their air pollution modeling, but their sound pollution estimates. Thank you.
Yes.
Are you referring to me, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Oh, you are. Oh, my goodness, it's terrible when you can't remember people's names for even one meeting. I'm Nan Carl, and I'm going to go a little bit backwards on my comments and back up what Mr. Brill just spoke about. That is your name, isn't it? Okay, I have some senior moments, too. Number one, I think that the person he referenced had said she put in an Oprah request and never got an answer. Got nonsense. First of all, I believe that person is a township employee, unless she just recently retired or something, which gives her unfettered access to all this information in town hall without bringing it up. Second of all, she said an Oprah request. She didn't say, did she put it into the township, the state, the Garden State Parkway, or what? And how is it phrased? I seriously suggest that she did not put it in properly or to the proper entity. Oprahs don't just mean the township, but the township should have had her information. And she suggested that the people in Evergreen Woods who have been complaining for, 6 years, and rightfully so, and I've backed them up, and the wall was one of the things I said from the very beginning should be done there. Lo and behold, it's done on my side of the parkway, protecting the shops at Jersey Farms lot, as I call it. I don't think that's needed. And next is that I was in the dollar store just a couple of hours ago and got talking to one of the consumers there, and he mentioned that he didn't know when the council meetings are being held. And it says here that it was published January 5th, 2018. Do you think maybe that's why he couldn't find out when they're being held? So I informed him that I think they're still aired after the fact on BT Television 20, but that if he's computer literate, he should go to YouTube, and he can see the wonderful nonsense in the back of my head and my complaints. He thanked me, gave me his business card so that we could be in touch. The attorney said that the ordinance on second reading would be published, and then 20 days notice, and that has me thoroughly confused, and I don't want you taking my time. It's bad enough that I happened to see one of the councilmen come down and sit down. That causes me to wonder, is he now going to do what Mr. Fosman, whose speech rights, free speech rights, were definitely stifled when he was a councilman. He was told he couldn't talk about it from the dais, which caused him to eventually change parties. Is this gentleman going to claim his was? Because he absolutely wasn't stifled. So I really resent that we're limited in how much we can speak. This second councilman is never limited in how much he can speak about nonsense that doesn't affect the town. And I'm going to start making a recording and playing it, I think, about the Students of the Month. That should be done in the school. If the mayor and the council or any particular council are so in favor of recognizing them, let them ask to be put on the agenda at the school and do it there. If you're going to persist, since he's taking my time from being able to speak, I'm limited, let the Students of the Month get up here and do an essay on something relevant to government, particularly in Brick. And since I have only a few seconds, to those, well, you know, this is what the priest said to my parents on the day they got married at the reception. To those who wish him well, and all the rest can go you know where. Well, to those who wish me and the good people of Brick well and do well by us, I wish you the holiest, happiest of this holy holiday season right into the new year.
Yes.
Jim Fosman, 456 Rhode Island Avenue, and the only reason I'm speaking from here because I was denied to speak at the podium before the council, before public comments. I just got more information about Albert
You have
Marine.
your own council comments, sir.
And on December, I asked for more information. And on December 11, 2018, I received the following documents in regards to Traders Cove dredging. Here in my hand is Albert Marine Construction, 7/3/18. So in July, this proposal went out there. A proposal submitted by Albert Marine on July 3rd, 2018 to the dockmaster at Traders Cove Marina. On this proposal, 2 quotes were outlined, estimating that 150 cubic yards would be removed, the first being 5 days of dredging at a cost of $17,500, and the second was 4 days of dredging at $15,000. The proposal included a barge, push boat, and excavator with an operator. No permits costs were included, nor were there any costs outlined for the transporting, testing, or dumping, or any approved site regarding to the sludge material. In all actuality, the amount of the material dredged was approximately 2,250 cubic yards, as stated in a notice of violation from the New Jersey DEP. And everyone here knows any amount over 500 cubic yards needs to be tested. I have here an email dated August 20th, 2018 from the Traders Cove Dockmaster to the Township Purchasing Department and CC to the Recreation Director, which stated, and I quote, "Albert Marine is the only company that will do the dredging at Traders Cove Marina." He also stated that he wrote to 2 other companies, but they were not interested. On that email thread, the Director of Recreation sent an email to the Dockmaster, Director of Public Works, and the Township Engineer, which stated that once the Purchasing Department says it's okay to move forward, and then after the Dockmaster speaking to Albert Marine on the date to start the dredging, he asked if they can all get together to go over the Township's part of the project, trucking material from Traders Cove to the back of Town Hall, and will need to go over location of dredging material along with drivers. This proves that all along you had no intention of getting permits, because permits would have been issued before the start of a job. On December 12, 2018, I following questions of the business administrator and also copying the mayor on the township and the township attorney. There are further invoices and payments anticipated from and to Albert Marine regarding Traders Cove. I never received an answer for that one. And my other one I never received an answer for is who directed the dockmaster to solicit quotes for the dredging project and when that directive was issued. To this date, I have not received any response. You can answer the questions if you like now. No answer?
I'd be happy to answer, Councilman
Okay.
Fosman. Are you ready for me to
I'm
do so?
ready.
Okay. So I'm aware of the documentation that you're illustrating. In fact, I was the one that provided it to you, so these are a completely transparent process. The documents are available. I provided them to you upon request. There's nothing new or shocking in that information. The proposal that we got from Albert Marine, the one that we went with, was $10,000, which is below the bid threshold. We did solicit other proposals. The email from our dockmaster to our purchasing agent was satisfactory to our New Jersey procurement practices, that we solicited other proposals and we proceeded with the project. I don't agree that this illustrates that we never proved our intentions not to get a permit. In fact, I feel it illustrates the misunderstanding on our engineering division's part that one was needed. The one that we had in place, in her opinion, was satisfactory to do the maintenance work that we intended to do. As I said in my email response to you earlier today, the dockmaster, this was approved, the dredging was approved in a capital budget, and once we have projects that are approved in a capital budget, it is very typical for our divisions and departments to solicit proposals. So there wasn't any directive that was required. The approved capital budget was what was needed for our division and department heads to get prices and to proceed with the capital, whether it's a purchase of equipment or the start of a project. What I think the difference here is, there was absolutely mistakes made here. I don't feel that anyone disagrees with that. I certainly don't disagree with that. It was, more diligence was needed to ensure that our permits were up to date, were accurate, were filed, and we did the project in full compliance with those permits. That is absolutely 100% in error, and that will be addressed accordingly. The difference when a municipal public employee makes a mistake as opposed to an employee in the private sector is that there's always somebody that could get up to the microphone and to point that out repeatedly to destroy or to attempt to destroy the person who made the mistake. A mistake was made. We fixed that mistake. We applied for the permit. We did everything the DEP asked us to. I responded in the time frame that was required, and we will make this right.
Very good, and this is not the first mistake. We had your engineer, our township engineer, did the state streets. All the roads cracked a year later. That's because she didn't do it accurately. She didn't put down the proper stuff on that paper. And also, we had problems here. We do Trader's Code, putting up 2-hour parking before an ordinance is even passed. This is ongoing, it's continuing. And we paid $15,000, not $10,000, to Albert Marine. I got the bill right here.
Right,
We paid
$15,000.
You said 10, it's 15.
Again, another mistake. Would you like me to?
A lot of mistakes.
I made a mistake, I'm sorry. And you know, Councilman Fosman, there are mistakes that are made every day. The contractor who did the state streets did make a mistake as directed by the outside consulting engineer that was hired by the township to do that job, and we settled that matter through litigation and received money for that we are applying to do other projects.
There's a lot of mistakes going on here.
Of course there's a lot of mistakes,
and
but
you
there's
know what?
also a lot of wonderful, great things that are happening in town, but we can sit here and we can harp on the mistakes again and again and again. A mistake was made, we are fixing the mistake.
It's a lot of them. And I've been here since 2012. I've been here as long as the mayor have. All these other people are new.
Well, then you should take some responsibility for those mistakes too, if you've
I
been
didn't do
here
that
long.
mistake. I did not. The administration did the mistake at the 2 hours, and the administration did the mistake here. Nobody else. It stops at the mayor. And I'm going to tell you, so everyone here knows I spearheaded and very successful neighborhood watch. One of the important mantras we have always maintained is if you see something, say something. And that's what the neighborhood watch is. Mariana Ponchonero knows that very well. We reiterate that all the time at the Neighborhood Watch meetings. Residents and business owners have contacted me regarding the township's lack of responsibility and not filing for permits. And they're not testing the sludge. I have suggested they attend a council meeting and let everyone know their feelings, but they are in fear of retaliation from the administration. Do as I say, not as I do, seems to be a norm around here. And 2 more questions. Here we did that, where did that soil come from in the back over here that was used to cover the dredge material, and what was the cost? And another one was, why did the township have to hire another engineering firm, ARH Engineering, to complete the permit application when we have a township engineer?
We hire outside consulting engineers regularly and often for a variety of permit applications. That is not unusual in any way, shape, or form. That's why we have a pool. ARH is handling the permit application. The material that was brought to the site here came from the Pioneer Hose subdivision at no cost to the township other than our manpower to transport it here.
We hired ARH after the fact.
That is correct. A mistake was made. We realized that. We needed to file the permit and hired the appropriate consulting engineer to do that.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Paul Momolo, 404 Princeton Avenue. I'm here to speak as a councilman and a concerned citizen. I'd like to address the council. In the next few weeks, we're going to be choosing our committees. And on our committees, we have a chair. That chair's responsibility is to approve minutes, get those minutes out to all other council people and the public, if the public is open. What happened on, we've been accused by Councilman Fosman of not being transparent. On July 24th, Public Works, which he is the chair of, had a meeting. I have not seen minutes. Those minutes have not been released by the secretary due to Councilman Fosman not releasing them. August 14th meeting from Public Works, which is he also a chair. Those meetings seem to have disappeared. No one knows where they were. I don't know what transpired on those 2 meetings in Public Works. I'm concerned about that. There might be information that is trying to be hidden. I don't know. Why weren't those meetings?
I will explain, Councilman.
You
finish and I'll explain to you.
This is public comment.
And I will answer.
We cannot allow this to
He's
happen.
addressing me. He's not addressing you.
Mr. Fosman, thank you.
You're addressing me.
I'm not addressing, I'm addressing the council, but I'm addressing your
Thank you.
particular
There you go.
items.
I will
What
answer
happened is, he's accusing us of not being transparent. I'm chair of a couple of committees. Minutes are always released to everybody. Nobody's ever asked for minutes that haven't been released. We cannot allow this to happen, so we need to have the consideration next year when we choose committees on who's on these committees and who's chair of these committees. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, I'll answer you, Councilman Momolo. Councilman Momolo, I had one
Mr.
meeting that I
Fosman,
did a
you can-
recording.
Mr.
and I
Fosman, you
will
can answer him in your
I'm answering
public,
him now.
no, in your
He
council
asked
comments.
on public comments,
He
and
did
I
not-
will answer him on public comments.
He did not ask a question.
He did.
He made a
answered it.
statement.
And that
He
recording,
made a statement.
what happened was, it got erased by accident when I took the machine home. I didn't know how to operate it properly, and
Why
I
would you
brought
take
it
it home?
back.
Why
and I
would you
brought
take
it
it
back.
home when you were instructed to
Should've
put it
been
on
home.
the council secretary's desk?
That's
When
township.
I
Thank
left the
you.
meeting, I had it in my
Next.
pocket.
Yes.
And by the way, Councilman Momolo is in charge, chair of business and finance. We had 5 meetings all year.
Yeah.
When we had Scott Pizarris here, we had meetings every 2 weeks about business and finance, and that was a fact. And I did read off before how many meetings were in this, all the years. It dwindled down to nothing.
The question
And
is,
that's
did
what we have here.
you get
These
minutes from those
people,
meetings? Did you get
these
minutes?
people here,
You got minutes.
5
We didn't get
five
minutes.
Please.
meetings of business and finance?
Enough.
Come on.
Sir,
Vic Finelli, Meadow Point Drive. I know who's responsible for the ugly sweaters, who's responsible for the ugly ties.
What are you trying to say? Where's yours?
I'm trying to lighten it up just a little, guys. Okay. As you're probably aware, because there was a lot of complaints, a large section of Manalocan Road was repaved a couple of months ago. That's County Road 528. I realize it's a county road. And they did a really nice job. I'm not one of the complainers because I understand if you're going to repave a major road, there got to be some closures. Last week, it was a disaster over there again. This time, there was a bunch of guys painting all these little lines all over the road, right? I wonder what was going on. Secondhand knowledge, so I'm number one confirming it, is that New Jersey Natural Gas has decided it's time to inspect their pipes underneath that road, so they're going to be digging up all these little holes to make inspections.
Yes, that is what I was told by the county.
Is there anything you can do about that?
I-
When you repaved, like my road and Cedar Island Drive, we got a notice from the township, you can't do anything to mess that up for 2 years.
Yeah, so
Okay, I understand that.
So we have a great program here in Brick Township, which is, we have a 5-year moratorium. So what we do, which is even better than that, because a 5-year moratorium is one thing, it's the back end of it, obviously. You've already paved and now you have a 5-year moratorium. We have a better program than that. I know our township engineer made a mistake perhaps on a permit, but she had this great idea that she would contact each and every utility before we ever pave the road ourselves. So she goes to the MUA, she goes to the New Jersey Natural Gas, she goes to the water company over on the island, and as well as JCP&L if she has to, because there's some underground. She then formulates a plan based upon that. She says, okay, we want to pave whatever road it may be, Mandalay Road. She finds out, okay, the MUA, we're doing a water main replacement in 2021. That project, I know people who are there aren't happy that our roads aren't getting paved, but they're happy when they find out, okay, it's going to be a water main replacement, and then after that, it's going to get replaced. So we have that whole program in place. So I offer that to the county, like they should have the same thing, because this is a travesty. It's a total waste of taxpayer money. I understand it's not only brick money, it's county money, but it's a complete waste. It's going to get torn up. The promise I had from the county was that the gas company is going to be responsible for the half. They're only ripping up the westbound lanes, and that's what they're going to have to repave. Now, I've seen markings on the eastbound lanes as well, but they say that the gas company is going to be responsible for paving the half of the road going west where they're digging up,
When you say,
not just patching.
when you say paving, they're going to repave the whole thing, they're not going to patch it?
That's what the county says. Whether or not that happens or not, I can't say for sure, because it's not our job, but they say it's not going to be patches, it's going to have to be paved.
Okay. Have you talked to anybody in the county to say, this is the way we do it, could you do it that way in the future? I mean, we don't get county roads repaved that often. It's really nice. I'm on that road 6 to 8 times a week. It's already got a big bump in it. As you know, we had a water main break last week, and there's a speed bump in it now. So if they're going to repave the whole thing, then I'll sit down and shut up.
We'll see if it happens or not. That's what they say.
Okay.
They're going to repave the westbound lanes that's being dug up. But, when we're sitting here in, let's say June or July, when they had the opportunity to pave it after the, in the spring when the asphalt plant's open and it's not done, I'm sure we're going to have the complaints that all they did was patch it. But we'll see.
My second item was just a comment regarding the Student of the Month. I don't know what the best way to do it is, and I go to all the school board meetings. I did make a count today, and out of one of the schools, you had 8 people recognized, but only 2 of them were here. So I don't know whether that sends you a message that the students really don't care, or they think it's an inconvenience. I would suggest you talk to the superintendent or the school board president and decide whether this is the right way to do it or another way to do it.
Yeah, it's bad. December 18th. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I'm going to comment on that. I think it really depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hit a month where there's a lot of students who are Student of the Month who participate in sports. Right now, there are a lot of choral concerts and band concerts and evening events taking place at the school. So my guess for this month in particular, because usually we have a decent showing.
A
is
decent,
that
but
there's
you don't ever have 100%.
Well,
You never will.
I don't know that we ever would. I don't know even if you did it at the school level you ever would either, being from a school. It depends on the student, what their family life is, and what the ability is for them to actually get to a meeting. But it is, whether they're here or not, the fact that we're recognizing them and the fact that it is televised is, and I think that's an honor in itself.
I agree, 100%.
I could go either way, just a suggestion.
And since it only takes like 5 minutes, I don't
Right,
think it's
right.
really sucking up too much time from the
Just
meeting.
an observation, that's all. I spend a lot of time at the school board meetings. My last comment, guys, got to get your house in order. You can't have this bickering going on at these meetings. It's such a bad example for everybody. I don't know what you got to do to fix it. You guys need to fix it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
John Sluka, Sylvia Court. I just want to make sure I got this. Next scheduled meeting, the town council, December 28th. That was a change from the original? Is that what it is?
Yes.
From the November?
Yes,
what,
we had to assure.
December 31st thing or something?
We had to assure that we had a quorum.
Oh. You didn't worry whether I was going to be there.
And December 28th.
Thank you.
They already have been, yes. It's in the papers.
If I should have worn a red sweater tonight or some
Camo?
armor. I'm going to reiterate what Mr. Finelli said. Evidently, some council people aren't happy with the way things are going. Mayor, as you as the leader and the head, I really think you'll have to sit down if there's something missing or something that has to be done. You know, to have this in public is just not a good situation all the way around, in my opinion.
The mayor's a guest. The mayor's a guest at these meetings. He's an invited guest, correct?
Yes, correct. Thank you. Thankfully, an invited guest that comes to every meeting pretty much.
An appreciated guest, too.
I was going to say, I think he acts as more than just a guest while he's here. You know, goes over a lot of things. The Manalocan Road situation. Does the county engineer check with our engineer as to when these things are going to happen? I mean, that is the amount of detours that were involved. I was involved in that, and everything coming over to Drum Point Road where there's a school, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I think the mistake that was made was, I don't know if it's a mistake, I guess a cost saving. So what they did is they did it in-house, the county. So normally when an outside contractor's involved, they're contacting our police department, our traffic safety, they're setting up a traffic plan, they have those, I forget that company, but the trucks, the white trucks with the yellow lights, if need be, which in this case they should have been. None of that happened. They just showed up one day and started paving and closed the road down. Our chief then had to get our guys out there, everything else. Then we had the sheriff's, then the Ocean County Sheriff's Department decided that they would cover it since it's a county job. But then there was one day that they were short manpower, so they pulled the guys off of Manalogan Road. Again, not telling our police department, so we had nothing going on. Everything was complete mayhem again. And then that's when our chief stepped in and said, "This is done with it. We're doing it this way." And he took over. He was out there himself on a Friday night directing traffic, our chief, because of the way that job went. And now it's being torn up again. So.
Yeah, it's just crazy, as Bill said. I don't want to get involved with this dredging situation, but I just want to ask the business administrator something that she said. So this thing with Albert Marine, the number, when I looked at the bills, it was like $18,000 for a permit. When you usually go out, and usually the engineer does this, the whole scope is encompassed. Whether or not it was 10,000, of course, our threshold is 17,500. At least that's the way I remember it. But it seems that this cost more than that amount. Is that right or not right?
No, because the permit fee is not included in that.
Oh, okay. The other thing I want to ask two more things. To the legal mind over there, on all of the certifications that you do, where you certify available funds, it just strikes me, Mary Ann picked up something that happened 10 years ago. You always say that pursuant to a resolution of the Division of Local Government dated October 20th, 1975. They haven't updated that in 43 years? Seriously, Kevin, come on.
I don't run the state. The state has not updated in that
No,
amount of time.
Okay. I was just curious. I mean, Seven-
I suppose they don't see a need to update, or I can't explain what the state does, the mayor can't explain what the county does.
Okay. Leslie, you did mention one of the positions, not individuals. How many people, I'm just curious, do you know of that are retiring by the end of the year? Approximately.
There's a fair amount. I don't have a number for you off the top of my head. There's still people
Is it more than
that are-
25?
No, I don't think so. It's probably close to that, though.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Before I leave, happy holidays to everybody and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scott. Anybody else? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen?
Yes, actually, I would like to make a comment. The Township of Brick has several hundred employees who are dedicated to serving our residents. And yes, we do make mistakes. And as I said earlier, for municipal employees, when we make mistakes, it can become a part of the public dialogue. What's disappointing to me is the continuous belittling and criticizing in a public forum of our employees. We're all somebody's mother or father, somebody's daughter or son, somebody's sister or brother, somebody's friend, somebody's neighbor. And I ask for recognition that these very real people not get caught in the crosshairs of anyone's negative personal agenda. And I would appreciate your consideration of that going forward. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. I just want to give an update on the future Sports Dome site. They did have a planning board meeting on Wednesday, and the planning board unanimously approved the plan as submitted. So there is the Sports Dome in the back, which includes full-length football field going east to west, so to speak, and then 3 soccer/lacrosse fields, an outdoor volleyball court, basketball courts in a separate building, an indoor wave for surfing year-round, as well as the Butler-style building that'll have party rooms, arcades, little coffee shop, physical therapist, ceramic studios, etc. So it's exciting that it got approved. That starts the process in a way. I mean, I know we keep on saying we start the process, but now next it goes up to CAFRA, which is a state process, which we don't have control over. It's got to come back to the planning board for final site plan approval, and then the council one last time. So hopefully by this time next year, anybody who wants to have holiday parties and everything can have them at our new sports dome. Let's hope. I want to give an update on Pro Champs. It's, the council was kind enough to appoint them to register our abandoned properties and properties that not necessarily abandoned, but are bank-owned, I should say. And they have returned at this point over $300,000 in fees, which is no cost to the town. We get a percentage of what they collect, and they get a percentage of what they collect. So they've registered that amount in properties, and it's recurring because it's every 6 months they have to re-register. So hopefully that number goes down because that means we have less bank-owned buildings. But I think what it'll do is going to motivate the banks to actually move on these things. There's so many bank-owned properties that are just sitting there for no reason. The banks are holding on to them. The market's back. Our property values here in Brick are outstanding. They're back to 2004 levels. We're waiting for the banks to make a move, and this will hopefully move them along. And in the meantime, we have some revenue coming in. I wanted to announce there's an openings, and these are mayor appointments as well as council appointments, but I figure we just announce them all at once. So please do an email. You can do paper mail as well. Letter of interest as well as a resume if you feel, or just what your background is, why you think you're qualified. And the openings that are coming up for appointment in January are the Board of Adjustment, the Environmental Commission, the Historical Preservation Commission, BMAC, and the Property Maintenance Board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different boards, and please get them in as soon as possible because our reorganization meeting is January 8th, 2019. Lastly, I wanted to give a reminder, municipal offices will be closed on Christmas Day, December 25th, as well as New Year's Day, which is January 1st for the holidays. So that also includes, besides the municipal offices, it also includes DPW collection on those 2 days, and recycling will not happen. They will be all moved back one day. If you are Christmas Eve, that's Monday. or New Year's Eve, also a Monday, your pickup will happen. So Monday happens, Tuesday is going to be off both weeks. It'll be pushed back. Tuesday will be Wednesday, Wednesday will be Thursday, Thursday will be Friday, Friday will be Saturday. So please keep a track of that. And I want to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hopefully we have peace on earth, and hopefully we have peace here in the courtroom. Thank you.
Mr. Starkey.
I'm just going to say happy holidays to everyone and Merry Christmas, too.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Same to you guys. Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to congratulate the students of the month, those that were here tonight and those that were not, on their achievement. I want to congratulate the agencies and the organizations who were awarded CDBG grants and thank them for their service to our community. These wonderful organizations and the dedicated volunteers that work with them are among the many things that help make Brick Township the great place to live that it is. I want to thank Mayor Ducey for remembering the change in the garbage collection before I make my final remarks tonight. Oh, no, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I do have one announcement. Getting ahead of myself. Registration is now open for Sports Saturday, which is a program that's offered through BMAC. It is a youth sports training program for boys and girls ages 9 to 12. It'll start January 5th, Saturday, January 5th, and run through April 13th. There's 2 sessions each day, an 8:30 and a 10:30. The children can register for as many sessions as they want, and then there's a 1-hour session for parents. The point of the program is to teach young people how to train for their sports safely, to avoid future possible exposure to prescription opioid pain relievers as a result of a sports injury. And then we talk to the parents about making those decisions on their child's care in those situations. And we'll also be including information this year on vaping, which is getting to be a very, very big problem in this country. There was just another report that was issued today on the health effects, the number of youth that are vaping and the health effects. So you can register online on the Recreation website or over the phone, and it is free. It's paid for by the BMAC grant. And finally, what can I give you, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring you a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give you? I can give you my heart. That's from A Christmas Carol by the 19th century poet Christina Rossetti. It's from my heart to your home. May your holidays be merry and bright. Thank you.
Councilman Halloran, you get to follow
you.
that.
She does this to me every week. I don't know. I don't know what to say after that, you know? It's a tough act, but thank you, it was very nice. Certainly we want to congratulate the students of the month, and I'd just like to say, you know, we're a very fortunate community that we have such wonderful organizations that contribute to our residents and take care of our residents who are in need. We should all be very proud of this town and what our residents and our community does to help out each other, especially at this time of year. So, and it bothers me that we have to be reminded by our by our residents that our behavior is not up to par. I agree with you. I think some of the behavior that we've been watching over the last couple weeks has been extremely disappointing, and I'd like to see it stop. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful holiday. Please be careful as you travel. People get crazy out there. So have a good holiday. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. I wanted to start first by letting everyone know that one of the display cases as you enter Town Hall now has a display of some of the photo contest recipients. We had our Take 5 photo contest back in October, and many of the residents who participated in that event left their photos behind so that we could use them here in Town Hall. So we greatly appreciate that. We have some really talented people who live in our community, and it's really nice to highlight them. So each month, that photo display will be changed with different people who've participated. Currently, for the month of December, I meant to mention this last meeting, and I didn't get a chance. For the month of December, the photos of Mario DeCrocco, Andrea Mercer, and Michael Smith are on display, and there are some really beautiful places in Brick. So if you want to, as you're walking out this evening, if you want to take a look at those, they're really quite beautiful. And for the month of January, we'll have a few new participants on display so that each month you can see some of the wonderful photographs that were on display from our photo contest. And I know a lot of people couldn't make it out that evening, but this is a great way to honor those participants for that particular event that we had. The other thing that I want to say is, with regard to things going on here, people make mistakes. And there are a lot of wonderful people who work here in Town Hall, and I have a great respect for them. And I have more respect for them knowing that a mistake was made and that the mistake is being corrected, and that ownership was taken of that particular error. And I am honored to work with the many people who are here in Town Hall, and I have a great respect for them. And as far as our CDBG check recipients go, congratulations to them, and what a great thing they do for our community. I'm so proud to have had those people out tonight and have them have a chance to talk about all the great things that they do. And with Christmas coming, I just want to do one quick quote from A Christmas Carol. There's a point in the Christmas Carol where Marley's ghost says, "Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business." And I'd like to think, those of us that sit up here, mankind is our business. And many of us make it a point to do the best that we can for the people in this town. And we don't put ourselves first. And we are not concerned with where we are financially or how we can get ahead. What we care about is how can we help the people in this town. And I'm very proud to work with some great people sitting up here. So I hope that we can come together in the new year and really continue to make a difference in a positive way for the people in this community. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. President. I don't have a poem or a quote, but I have a song. Would you all like to hear it?
No.
Just kidding. Congratulations, Students of the Month, and also happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a happy, healthy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Councilman Fosman.
If the township would have been more forthcoming with the information instead of trying to hinder it all over town here, maybe it wouldn't have gone this far. I would have got all the information right away, and I would have just had to say it once. But unfortunately, it's not like that. And I still haven't received any answers from 2 emails, one from the attorney and one from the business administrator, still relating to this. And I'd just like to say that I scheduled a meeting for Public Works on December 4th, and nobody could make it. But they had a special meeting for public safety, and everybody made that meeting. And two of the people who were on there were from Public Works. It's very odd how that happened. I'm not done yet either.
Just let him make things up. Just let him make things up.
First, I'd like to say my thoughts and prayers go out to the Bartlett family on the passing of freeholder John C. Bartlett, Jr. He served the people of Ocean County for 39 years and will be greatly missed. That's what I was talking about. Kevin, I sent you an email about trap neuter release, and it's been a few weeks, and I still don't have a response for that. And Joanne, I sent you an email about the solar fields, and you still haven't responded. I'm waiting for an answer. Never got it.
Councilman Fosman, can I ask you to please resend that to me, because I don't recall seeing that.
Okay.
And I think I'm very diligent and maybe not as timely as everybody would like.
I will resend
but
it.
I do answer all my emails.
I'll resend it to Kevin, too.
Thank you.
And just to refresh the mayor's memory, that when he sat up here as a councilman along with me, he told Mayor Kropolis, the buck stops with him. So, with all due respect, Mayor, the buck stops with you as well. I had a wonderful time at the Senior Outreach Holiday Brunch at the Leisure Park on Route 70 on December 6th. It was a very festive event with a fabulous group of people. And on December 10th, I attended a neighborhood watch meeting here at Town Hall, which included all the block captains trying to get feedback from the captains there. It was a good meeting. The VFW held the Senior Service Winter Celebration on December 14th. A Little Miss Ocean County joined us for the celebration.
That was senior services, not the VFW.
It was my honor on December 15th to participate in placing of the wreaths along with the Brick Township Historical Prevention Commission to recognize national wreaths across America at the Graveyard. It took place at 12 noon along with others throughout America. And John, you mentioned my name during your Facebook Live show tonight. Regarding the owners of the Herbertsville Deli, let me be very clear here. The owners are acquaintances of mine. They asked me about getting a liquor license in town. I advised them to write a letter to you. Your attempt to misguide the public about me is a blatant attempt to retaliate against me for being bringing up Traders Cove and the dredging project, which was performed without permits, and I followed the protocol in advising the business owners of Herbertsville Deli to write you a letter. Sounds to me like you may have a personal problem with one of the owners. John, I lived in Brick for 31 years, and as a business owner, I know very many local businesses. How many years have you lived in town? 50 for me.
Councilman Fosman?
Yes.
I'm not sure what the point of that was, but thanks. And it was, you were inquiring about a liquor license. The fact that I have a problem with the owner, I don't even know who the owner is. You're the friends with the owner, not me. You didn't tell me who the owner was.
And that's why they wrote you a letter. And that's why they wrote you a letter. And you wrote a letter back, I believe.
And the answer was no.
That's okay, but that's protocol. That's like me going to Joanne saying, oh, there's a problem down Public Works and somebody's doing drugs. Somebody report it to me. I bring it to protocols. My protocol is to bring it to Joanne Bergen. That's my protocol. I don't bring it to anybody up here, and that's what you do. You bring it to protocol, and the protocol was you.
Right, and my comment was that the Councilman Fosman brought it to us, and you're the one who brought us the letter.
And that's what they asked me. They gave it to me. I said, well, I'll give it to the mayor, and that's what I did.
Right, so we
It's
agree.
protocol. That's
So
protocol, Mayor. You don't jump over people's heads. You give it to you. And you said, no, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Good, so we agree.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Peace on earth, my friend, peace on earth.
Well, you mentioned it at the meeting. You mentioned it on your show, not me.
And you just backed up what I said on the show. What are you speaking of? So we agree with each other. What, you're making an argument over something that we agree on? That's odd.
You better listen to your show again.
Okay, I will. And I know what I said.
Councilwoman Poncherero?
Oh, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I want to thank President Dion for going through the different items with more specificity. I think that it was extremely helpful to the public, and I hope that that continues for future meetings because it's important that everyone understand what we're doing. Second, I wanted to congratulate the students of the month. While I respect and understand while certain members of our community may not believe that it's most appropriate to be conducted here, children thrive on both positive and negative attention. And for our youngest residents, I believe that it's important to recognize them for the good things that they do. Some of the children, it's the first time they may see how our government works for the first time. That experience is worth 5 minutes of my time. But I do think there may be something to a suggestion of potentially having the kids do more in the future, maybe an essay on another government-related topic that we could also recognize them for, who wrote the best essay. I think that's certainly something that we can consider and I think has merit. My point in bringing up at the last council meeting about the importance of our committees and the resulting notes and minutes of the meetings, and I purposefully didn't name any names when I made the comments. I wasn't trying to start or inflame anything more than is going on right now. My point is that when a committee meets, you see, it's been pointed out by Councilman Fosman, we don't meet all the time. When we're meeting, it's to address certain issues that are important. And by the way, I was available on the 4th, and I did offer to make myself available any other time that the Public Works meeting would be held. So please don't infer that it was me that was non-compliant. But we had 2 meetings, and we're at the end of the year. So I'm not raising it in a pejorative sense. I have a solution to the problem. I think that what we can do in instances, no one is perfect. In my opinion, they crucified the only perfect person who walked the earth. But no one is perfect. So if there was a problem, usually so that the public understands, when we conduct committee meetings, we have either Ms. Hartman or Mrs. Bergen sit with the recorder and take notes. Those notes are then transcribed and given to the chairperson to review and then to disseminate to the other council members so that everyone knows what's going on in the different committees, because we all can't be everywhere, but we need to know what's going on so that we can vote appropriately on things that come out. One of our, and I think it wouldn't have been necessarily as important if we weren't discussing at one of those meetings in depth an ordinance that one of our committee members worked very hard on, and we had gone through various revisions to the ordinance, and I thought we were close to completion of a proposed ordinance that would have been then reviewed by council and then potentially presented as an ordinance. And I'm concerned that with no notes and no minutes, that all of that work will just be lost and no one will know what we spent our time doing. Well, that's not right. We all need to know. So, again, I have a solution, recognizing that mistakes happen, things happen. Potentially, if there was one meeting that there was a recorder, and I understand there may have been some issues with it, well, maybe we should reconvene as to those 2 meetings for the sole purpose of gathering each of our notes from those meetings and seeing that we can prepare to the best we're able based on our recollections and on our notes, some semblance of minutes to make clear what it was that was discussed. Every year we have a change of committees. So I'm not guaranteed to serve on the committees that don't have the minutes, and I want the committee members who serve next year to be able to pick up where we left off, and it's just not possible without these 2 meetings being reduced to a writing. So that was my only point in raising it. I certainly do have a way that we can fix it. I don't raise things just to, throw rocks. I have the purpose is for our residents. The purpose is for our council. What we do benefits or hurts you. So it's important. Last, I think that it's important to talk about the conditions of the police department's locker rooms. We had heard a question about it. When I was given my tour originally when I first took office, a couple things struck me. One of the things was the DPW, the lack of any kind of shelter for our big machines and vehicles, nothing to protect them from the elements. We were investing money in these new machines, and in my opinion, not protecting them right. So that was one thing. We've taken action, and there's going to be a whole barn built to protect them. Second thing that bothered me was the break room in the DPW was disgusting, and I thought something needed to be fixed, and eventually it was fixed. In the police department, the locker room conditions are deplorable, and I am cheap, okay? I share the sentiment of Mr. Scott. I will say I am as frugal, if not more frugal, than Mr. Scott, and where my money goes, even more where your money goes. So for me to sit here and tell you that the conditions needed to be remedied and need to be, I wouldn't send any public worker to work in an environment that is just not suitable. We have the police doing the best that they can to make it work for the conditions they're in now. I actually observed officers working in closets that were renovated into offices, tiny little, and they were fine, they weren't complaining. We've also, it's not there was a question of, is this because of new officers? Things have changed, even in the few short years since I've been up here. We now require body cams to be worn, and we're going to have storage of the tapes for these, so storage is an issue. So things are constantly evolving, necessitating reevaluation of what space works and what doesn't. And I commend the chief for doing an excellent job with making it work, as Tim Gunn would say, for what he has. So I just wanted to say that I personally did observe them, and they are in need of rehabilitation. And then last, Neighborhood Watch meeting for the Laurelton Gardens area. 12:30 p.m., January the 9th, at their clubhouse. So meeting at the Laurelton Gardens region at their clubhouse, 12:30 p.m. on January the 9th. And don't forget, our free rabies clinic is coming up. Lynette didn't say it. That's all right, I got your back. January 13th, 10 to 12. Free at the Drum Point Sports Center. I'm interested in knowing whether or not our seniors in our area are able to take advantage of this program and getting their animals for the free rabies shots. Obviously, it wouldn't be for this coming year. I want to know if there's a problem first. I'm interested in having feedback from our seniors. Is that something you want to participate in and you can't get there? Should we look at doing the rabies clinic in 2 separate locations to different areas of town? What should we do? I don't want to fix something that's not broke, but it's just something that came to my mind that I thought that getting some feedback from our seniors would be helpful. So feel free to call, drop an email, whatever you're comfortable with, and let us know how you feel about the rabies clinic. January 13th, 10 to 12, totally free. And it's important not just for the purposes of licensing your animal. If you ever wish to board your animal, you have to have the rabies vaccination. If you ever want to groom the animal, you have to have the rabies vaccination. And as well as if you want to go to the dog park, you have to have the rabies vaccination. With that, everyone have a blessed and happy holiday. Thank you. Sorry I was long.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. Our next meeting is December 28th at 9 o'clock. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.